They
We're
can
to get into
suck
that
it.
today.
Money is the bane of all existence, I swear. Or we can watch Ryan George. Ryan George! Okay, we'll watch Legal Mindset's video. Pokemon Infinite Fusions and Pokemon Too Many Types are must-plays. Ooh, Pokemon Infinite Fusions? Okay, I will note that down. The 3 best fan games are the Legacy trilogy. I will also note that down. Duly noted. Duly noted. Okay, let's see what Legal Mindset has to say about the whole thing. I am interested. Very interested.
Pokemon is losing their legal battle with Palworld, according to what we
Yeah.
can take from the latest new update in their case
Good.
with the information we have gleaned.
They
We're
can
to get into
suck
that
it.
today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, breaking down these legal issues all over the world. And today we have the fascinating case of Pokemon versus Palworld. This is something that I've actually covered on previous streams. I've covered this in the past. But once again, with these big lawsuits, they often don't have updates for a while. And to give you guys a little bit of background on Pokemon versus Palworld.
Pokemon versus Palworld. Yellow Legacy, Crystal Legacy, Emerald Legacy. So Gen 1 to 3, and you're able to catch all the Pokemon, and it's just a better version of each game that focuses on each generation. Okay, I will note them down.
World. Well, unless you live under a rock, you know about Pokemon, which is obviously a massive franchise, and it's owned between Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. And then you've got Palworld, which is owned by Pocket Pair, and it is really focused on PC. Now, this is very important because one of the big things overall for Pokemon is they've been real console let's say loyalists, or you might even say zealots for the consoles. They really don't believe in PC, and they've been pretty hardcore in keeping.
Wait, is Palworld Palworld is only on PC, right? Because that's a good point. They're console focused, and if Palworld's only on the PC, then what the frick? Okay, no, it's on Palworld is on PlayStation, Xbox, and yeah, it's on PC, Xbox, and Okay, so basically all the platforms that Pokemon is not on. Are you actually kidding me? Are you actually kidding me right now? Literally on all the platforms that Pokemon is not on. Even then, Nintendo doesn't really make games for Xbox and PlayStation, do they? Nope, they do not. Mario, what the frick ever, is only on Nintendo systems. The Legend of Zelda is only on Nintendo systems. There used to be a meme about Sony asking Microsoft for some of that Palworld. Okay, Swan. I hope you have a good rest of stream. Wait, why? Why did I tell you to have a good rest of stream? Frick my life. Have a good day.
Anything Pokemon like from entering the PC sphere, which is why they always kind of had an eye on Palworld, and one of the reasons why they took this shot. But the background is Nintendo and Pokemon Company, they filed a case for patent infringement against Palworld Pocket Pair September 18, 2024. Now, this is very, very important, and a lot of people miss the ball here. A lot of people think it's copyright. They think it's the ideas or the designs. This is not about the specific designs, and this is not about the ideas. This is about the patents.
It's about the patents.
So Nintendo
okay.
filed these patents and is claiming infringement of certain very specific patents.
Okay.
And that's a really narrowly focused piece of litigation. And now they're claiming they violate, obviously, several patents, not just one. And Nintendo wants an injunction to stop the sale of Palworld and monetary damages. So pretty much to kill the game. So to kill the game.
Frick off. No. I still have Palworld to play. You can't do that. Andrew's a fun person to talk to, by the way. Before his channel really took off, he used to play games with his chatters. Aww. That's cute. Honestly, he does seem like a really cool guy. This is the perfect freeze frame, by the way. I really should start playing Palworld again. Yeah, I want to play again. I want to play again really bad. The OGs will reference the bathroom setup where it looked like he used to stream out of a bathroom. What? They have done some impressive Palworld updates. Yeah, I only played when it first came out, so I literally haven't played any of the updates yet. I haven't played any of them.
Recoup any money that Pocket Pair Palworld made from the game. That's pretty much that's very scary, because obviously you can see the consequence for other game companies, smaller game companies. If Nintendo is allowed to put down Palworld, there will never be, I think at least for a while, there won't be anything that comes close or near Pokemon. But we've got some updates here. So obviously, some of the patents that people talked about, one of the most obvious is the catching mechanic with the ball. That's one of the things
stupid.
that Pokemon included in their lawsuit as an infringing patent.
They should have just made it a cube. They should have just made it a cube then.
However,
or a triangle.
Palworld's defense is that these patents were never infringed in the first place. They argue that, not only did they not infringe the patents, but the patents themselves are likely not even valid. If you look at the validity of these patents, some of them are ambiguous. They're kind of...
They didn't even exist until after Palworld came out.
They're kind of too broad. They're not in any way violating them on a technical basis. It's not something they have kind of technical exclusivity over, and they're violating that. So that's Palworld's defense, and they've been pretty consistent on that. And the other thing they've done, and which is brilliant, is they've changed the mechanics. And what this does is, while Palworld and Pokemon, both Japanese companies, may have a stronger case, Nintendo may have a stronger case in Japan under Japanese law, under US law, and mind you, the majority of the users for Palworld are in the United States. That's really what Nintendo wants, is to get them hit in the United States. Changing those mechanics is frustrating what's called a good faith basis claim in US courts under US copyright law. So by Palworld making those decisions to change things, to modify certain mechanics, that actually is frustrating them in the US. I know a lot of people think Palworld was backing down, but they actually were being smart there. They were playing the long game. They're saying, hey, they're attacking us and they want our US customers. Look, if
the US doesn't allow that change, Japan does. I was just about to say, but like Nintendo is literally doing the same thing now. What the frick? What the frick?
It ended up a situation where Palworld was banned in Japan. That really wouldn't hurt their overall market. If they could still go to the US, Europe, Canada, everywhere else in the world, it's not really going to matter too much. The Japanese domestic market isn't going to make or break Palworld. However, the US would. The US certainly would. So they frustrated them on that side. So Pokemon had to counter that, because now their claims, their patent infringement claims, are weak in their primary market. So they're saying, okay, let's try to change something up. Because of course, Nintendo has a massive legal...
Look, I feel like if there has to be this many changes mid-case, like during the process of the case, like you're literally just, you're what is it? You're making a mountain out of a molehill or something? I don't know what the saying is. Is that the right saying? You're literally just creating something out of nothing. What the hell? Them not being around until Palworld became big is incredibly sus and should have the case thrown out immediately, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I think. That's definitely what I think.
Team, and they have been known, their tactic is to sue people until they're penniless, to go after them with every speck of their legal resources, to crush them. Very similar to Disney and other very, very large corporations that are kind of the industry leaders in their specific areas. So the mechanic they specifically modified is actually, it's kind of related to the gliding mechanic, but it's smooth switching of writing objects. So they went to the Japanese patent office recently and they changed the patent language regarding smooth switching of writing objects. Now, it's very interesting because they didn't make it more clear. They
does that even mean?
A bunch of legal gobbledygook. We call it legalese, right? They just added some.
Oh, I guess it probably means like you go from you kind of just seamlessly go from riding a bird to now you're like riding a whale. I get it.
Extra superfluous language, including very ambiguous words like even when, which isn't really used especially in patent drafting. I would rarely ever use even when in contract drafting. It's just something that you really don't use because there's other ways you can say things that creates more ambiguity. Now, why would they do this? Well, it's extremely rare to modify
why.
your patents, particularly mid-litigation. It's not something you would normally do. It's a very odd move, because if you're modifying your patent, what does that mean? Well, what does that mean? Shock Pikachu face. Nintendo is not doing good. Nintendo is actually thinking they're going to take the L. So they realize they not only have a weak case in the US due to the modifications, but they may actually lose their patents. Their patents could be declared invalid. So because of that risk, they're trying to throw out some confusion, some ambiguity, some delay. This is something very common in general.
They're like, oh my God, we're losing. We're losing. Cause chaos. Do something. Distract them. Chaos everywhere.
Litigation tactic, particularly if you have a lot of resources. What you try to do is win the procedural victory. Sometimes, let's say the smaller party has justice on their side. We're going to call that the substance of the law. The heart of the law is on the side of the small guy. It's on the side of the underdog. But the big guy has something the small guy doesn't have, and that's money. And when you've got money, you can win a procedural victory. Often this happens by dragging out litigation so long.
Money is the bane of all existence, I swear. Nintendo basically legally enslaved a guy to pay them for the rest of his life, and after he dies, he owes them all of his assets.
It becomes costly for the person on the other side, the smaller party, and therefore they have to give up because they're literally being drained dry by litigation, and they cannot do it any longer. And that's what Pokemon is doing here. Now, I do think that Palworld so far has seen that they have the wherewithal to get through this and not try to settle it out or get something, where they'd be in a bad position. I think Palworld may be able to fight this, but this is really bad news showing Nintendo doing this. It is an obvious intimidation tactic against small developers, indie developers.
Look, if Palworld hasn't backed down yet, come on, they gotta keep fighting. Hello, Apacian. Hello, welcome in.
Showing that Nintendo is committed to litigation, and they will sue you all the way to Johto, right? If they feel like you are coming even close to anything Pokemon or their market share, or even going on PC with something that's Pokemon-esque. It's really something that they're flexing, saying, hey, look, small creators, indie devs, we will sue you, we will drain you, we will fight this out. You may not be a Palworld. Maybe Palworld will win. And this is actually looking like Palworld may very well win this.
Good.
But small guys will still crush you. So Nintendo being Nintendo, very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next.
I think they should tell Nintendo to go frick it themselves. Go frick yourselves and leave Palworld alone. I feel like we should just play Palworld now for the rest of the stream. Don't think so much about the name. I sure didn't. I try my best. I try my best to pronounce everyone's name accurately. I probably fail a lot, but it's fine. Sony's backing Pocket Pair because Sony wants Pocket Pair to succeed because they have a brand licensing deal. Frick yeah. I hate Sony, but frick yeah. Yeah, rare Sony win for real. For real, for real.